I'm not seeing anything on Twitter, so.
Nothing trending on Twitter?
No. Welcome to our channel.
Oh, yeah, welcome to our channel. I wasn't ready.
Okay.
I wasn't ready. Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, I want you to lead, babe.
Alright, welcome to our channel. I'm John J.
I'm Maya.
And this is This for That.
I live inside my own world of me.
Welcome back.
No, it's the first video.
Oh. It's funny.
I love you, babe.
Welcome to our channel. Alright, you ready?
I'm ready.
For the hood.
Okay.
Oh, my
Let's
hand.
start. Okay.
That's a good sign, baby.
That's money, 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 money. So a little bit about our background. Let's talk about like what we do, what I do, what you do when it comes to why we even feel like we need to be having a podcast.
Okay. So a little bit about myself. I started real estate in 2010.
Yeah.
2010. Learned a lot, done a lot. And my strengths are, I'm a strategist. I come up with ways to do things and ways to make deals work. So I'm also a stock trader. Done well in that over the past couple years.
Just to follow up with that, I also am in real estate. I got in real estate as a suggestion of this guy. This is my husband. So I started around 2013. I've been doing it ever since. I eventually went on to get my real estate broker's license, and I still do it today. I help a lot of my family and friends. I focus on listing homes. I also work with buyers. I have a lot of knowledge about real estate, the market, how to do deals, how to negotiate, property values, investment properties, how to property manage. We have our first investment property. So we just have a ton of knowledge about real estate and the real estate market.
So our backgrounds are mainly in real estate and finance. We made this channel because I just wanted to give our input on things that's going on in the world, including finance, politics, relationships, all of the above.
Basically all of the like trending things that you see that happen, and just to give our take on it, because we tend to surprise people sometimes because they don't expect to hear what our perspective is on things.
Especially my perspective.
So yeah, it's jarring sometimes. It's shocking to people sometimes to find out like how we actually think, because people will just automatically like peg us and like, oh, you're black, so you must think like this. We'll
probably be doing a lot of real estate news, everything around real estate pretty much.
We might venture off from time to time, right?
Yeah.
Might venture.
Of course.
If it's noteworthy.
We'll get into all the crazy stuff in the world. That's mainly why I think we decided to make this YouTube channel. Bear with us. Our first video together.
Doing a podcast style talk show. So we'll figure it out as we go, and hope you guys enjoy it and stay along for the ride. Right. And as we grow, like obviously you guys can suggest topics that you really want us to talk about or press on, and if it's something of interest that we feel like we can add some value to it, then
let's do it.
All right, so what are we getting into?
What do you want to get into right now? Okay, let's see what I have.
I mean, we're in California, by the way, if you care. So
we forgot to mention that. That's big. We give our input on everything across the world.
And in the world, for that matter.
This is a video on how you can afford real estate in 2024. Since you're the broker, do you have any suggestions on how a person would afford real estate with the prices being so high and the interest rates being so high? What are some of the ways you think millennials can afford real estate in 2024?
Here's the thing with millennials. Like, we titled this show This for That because the premise behind it, the idea about it is you're gonna have to give up something. You're gonna have to sacrifice something. In order for you to get to point B, you gotta start from somewhere. You can't just have everything. A lot of times, like, because of the way that millennials grew up and we had like access to so much information, computers, Apple blew up while we were children, and we had so much access to information and the internet. Our generation feels like we can just have it all and have everything, and that's just not true. Like, it isn't. I don't care who you are. If you're gonna lack something, because you have to sacrifice in order to get where you want to go in life.
And I do think that's the main problem with millennials. I don't want to say that they were spoon-fed. They don't have a sense of urgency when it comes to sacrificing and building wealth.
That's not one of their priorities.
Building wealth is not a thing for a lot of millennials. They choose to spend their money on trips, on material things, experiences, instead of investing, saving. It's always a way to do things if you're smart and strategic about how you're going to go about things. You can always strive towards stuff to get where you need to go. But I feel like millennials, they skipped that part. They went to a more consumer mindset.
Just to piggyback off what you just said, like I'm looking at market updates for our state, and retail sales are remaining strong, guys. Strong.
That's sad.
Retail sales remain strong and exceeded expectations. So that means that people are shopping, they're shopping. And that's one thing that if you have a goal to purchase real estate, whether you want to live in it or it's an investment property, you have to save your money. You have to save your money. Like you cannot be at all the hottest restaurants every single weekend. You can't be at Starbucks every day and all these cute little niche coffee shops. I love coffee. I love tea. I would love to visit all the coffee shops in my neighborhood, but that's just not realistic. That's not ideal. If your goal is to one day make a ton of money and buy real estate, you can't just come from, well, it's this price and the interest rates are that price, so I can't do it, I can't afford it, and just give up. Like you have to actually budget. Yes. I think that budgeting is something that our generation, they don't know how to do. I don't think they ever learned. We gotta get our era, and even younger, we all have to understand that you have to start a budget. Budgeting is very important. Whether you're gonna use QuickBooks or write it down on a notepad or Excel, you have to budget your money and you have to look at what you're spending, because once you see it, it's different. It hits different.
I think budgeting is a big part of it. I think another part of it though is consuming things that you don't need. Yeah. That's one of the biggest deal breakers. It's huge. It will kill your finances. Yeah. You go out, you see these things on social media, you want to buy it. It's just a lack of planning, and we understand that real estate is high. We own real estate, so we understand that real estate is high. But there's ways to invest. There's ways to get extra income and sacrifice. And yeah, maybe it won't be this year, maybe it won't be next year, but eventually you'll get to the point where you have a nice down payment for a house and you know how much you can afford because you budgeted, right? And then you can set up your life that way.
Yeah. Here's the most utilized retail industries right now. It's restaurants and bars.
Of course.
You don't need to go to restaurants and bars.
They want to party.
They surged, and then it was followed by electronics and appliances. People are spending a lot of money, and then also this is another thing that's killing millennials: the buy now, pay later. You hate those.
I hate them. I hate them. They're trash.
The buy now, pay laters. When we were kids, it was layaway, and then layaway went away. When we were kids, layaway was like a huge thing. You used to be able to go.
But I think with layaway, you couldn't take the item. You couldn't take the item until you paid it off.
Right. You couldn't enjoy the item.
Right.
What you talking about?
While you're paying it. They'll give you the item and you pay later.
Right. You get the item shipped to you. So all of those like Klarna, Affirm, I can't think of all the ones right now. But
I don't even know who they are.
Because I'm in the, I look at that.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know who they are.
I know what they are. All those buy now, pay later scenarios, you gotta stop that. The reason why is because if you're budgeting your money and you've budgeted out your month on what you can afford, but you bought a pair of shoes or something and you paid $20 for them, but really the shoes are gonna cost you $300, or I'm just throwing a number out there. And then next month it's coming out again, and you're like, oh yeah, I did buy those shoes. But then you got like 10 things on buy now, pay later. $10 here, $20 here. That's gotta stop.
That's the fastest way to keep you broke. Yeah, for sure.
That you can't do that. If you want to buy a house, you have to be tight with your budget right now. You have to, anywhere you can save, you have to save. If you can pick up a side hustle, you should.
I think so. Yeah, you're right. If you could pick up a side hustle, that's the best way to build your income up to get to a place where you can save. But I think one of the biggest problems with millennials is they feel like that buy now, pay later should be theirs, right? They have a sense of entitlement. I can't afford it, but I should have this, right?
I deserve this.
And that's a big issue. We've seen that with people buying real estate also. They want to buy in great neighborhoods right away,
but
instead of sacrificing and saying, you know what, I'm gonna go live in that neighborhood that's not so great. I'm gonna go live there for a few years at a lower payment, build up equity, build up appreciation, take that equity and move to a better neighborhood.
That's a good point.
They just want to go to the end of the line. They just want to go to the luxury items pretty much in life.
Right away. Yeah, that's a good point. That does shy away a lot of millennials from buying properties, because when they go to look at what they can afford, they don't like the neighborhood. We actually can speak to it because that's what we did. We bought in a neighborhood that we didn't necessarily want to live in, but we got a really good deal on our house at the time, and now our house has tripled. Yeah, it's tripled its value at this point. And it's an investment property now. We have renters living in there. So and then we were able to move to the area that we wanted to move to, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to progress from that one property in that neighborhood that nobody wanted to live in. That decision put us in a position where we're going to continue to progress in real estate because of it. And I think that a lot of millennials, they choose not to take that step, and that goes for anybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be a millennial. People today that have money that they could allocate towards real estate, they don't want to make that move because they feel like they don't like the outcome of, or the environment, or the way it looks. Everything's about an aesthetic, right? Aesthetic. Like, can we get rid of that word? Everything is not about something being aesthetically beautiful or looking a certain way to everybody else. What is it? What is your bottom line?
Right. What is it going to do for you in the future?
In the future.
That's the most important thing. Who cares if you look good in front of somebody? You got to get over that.
Right.
You know, millennials need to grow up.
Right. People are going to say, "Oh, you live yeah, I do.
I live in such and such." Yep. I do.
I sure do.
And you hold your head proud because you know the plan that's not the end of the plan. Right? The plan continues.
I think that budgeting, I think that being realistic about where you are and what you can purchase with your money, saving, the FOMO, the pay now, buy now, pay later, like all of those things are putting you in a position where you can't buy. I hear all the time that like, oh, the interest rates are high, the values are too high in California, I want to move. And then you find out, wait a minute, like the houses are expensive here too, and the cost of living is not as high. I'm speaking for Californians, but this could go to any major metropolitan city in any state. You're moving around, or you think it would be better for you to move somewhere else because maybe you can't afford, but really you move somewhere else and you realize that the cost of living is different in that next state, and that's never going to change for you. Are you going to keep uprooting your life and moving every time you can't afford something? You kind of have to just sit down, dig in, get your budget in order, get your willpower together. Get a grip on your wants versus needs versus reality.
Learn how to sit down. Learn how to sit down. Chill. It's okay. It's gonna be all right. You don't need to go to the bar. You don't need to be out in the streets.
The restaurants every
spending
time.
money. Sit down.
Chill out.
Save your money. One day you'll be able to do all that. Trust me.
I think if they did those things and they saved their money, a lot of millennials would benefit from going FHA. A lot of people don't realize, like, you don't have to come in with 20% down. It's very beneficial for someone that's starting out and buying their first home. They have first time buyers programs. If you're a nurse or a teacher or a civil servant, they have programs dedicated to that. But 3.5% down plus, like, save some aside for closing costs. You want to run the numbers on something like that?
$1 million used to be a lot.
It's not a lot anymore.
We could show them on the screen. Right here.
Right there?
Yeah, right there.
Show them right there. So let's say the average home right now where we are. You want to put where we are is kind of high. The average home where we are is $1 million, but
$1 million used to be a lot. We'll leave some numbers right here for you millennials. So millennials are not as fortunate as baby boomers were. So let's talk about it, because it's always been back and forth, millennials versus baby boomers. Millennials, baby boomers put millennials down, say they're lazy. I don't think millennials are lazy, but I do think they need to get their mind right if they want better things in life. They have to learn to sacrifice. One thing about baby boomers, during baby boomers' time, they could live off minimum wage and afford an apartment, let's say. I think 48% of their income will go towards their apartment. For a millennial to afford an apartment today, they would have to have graduated from college and made a higher income in order to afford around the same apartment. It's not equal. Millennials do have it worse, but who cares? Life isn't fair, right? Life's gonna go on. You need to do what you need to do as a millennial to get where you need to get.
I think for millennials, a lot of baby boomers that are in the workforce, they don't want to leave. They're not going to leave.
That's a good point too.
I just saw this article the other day about this woman. She was retiring from McDonald's at 85, I think, 84, cashier. Not to like put this woman down. That's great that she was able to get up every morning and she was healthy enough to clock into work. That's awesome. Those jobs should be going for younger people that are trying to make a way for themselves. And I think if less baby boomers, if they did a little bit better with their retirement instead of relying on, oh, I'm gonna get SSI one day, and if they had actually did a better job with their 401k and saving, they wouldn't be working until they're 85 years old. They would have already been retired. That job could have went to the 17-year-old or the 18-year-old that's in college trying to make his way, you know, instead of having to compete, or the wages being low because now there's a lot more people in the workforce because a lot of the baby boomers are not wanting to retire. That is why probably the gig economy has probably become such a big thing. Side hustles. Millennials have to, as sucky as it might be, like I know you guys probably are at work and you probably can do the job that maybe your supervisor is doing a lot better because you're younger and you probably have a little bit more of an innovative mindset and can implement things, but they're not showing any signs of retiring anytime soon. So you're almost like stuck in this position of not growing, and that's why a lot of millennials have, what are they calling it, where we job hop. Quiet quitting. We go and we will work at a place, and once we see there's no growth here, this person's not leaving. They're 65 and they're not leaving. And so what millennials will do is start applying to other places, and then once they, you know, find another opportunity, they're out of there. You got to do what you got to do right now as a millennial.
I tell you what, there's opportunities out there for millennials more than probably ever before. You know, those millennials that are getting out there and hustling and doing what they need to do, they're gonna win. Yeah. They're gonna win, and they're gonna be on top. Yeah. Eventually, they'll, you know, once a lot of baby boomers get out the way, they're gonna do good.
Yeah, I think so. But I said the first show should have been, they got millennials. They got millennials.
Some of them are gonna be hustlers. Some of them gonna get out there and they're gonna make it happen.
We're actually out there, we're making a way for ourselves, being creative. Like, well, look at all that creative financing and all that stuff. Wholesaling blew up. Like, those are millennials out there doing that stuff. Boomers and people that should be like looking towards another direction in their life, they're not transitioning into that next stage, and it leaves us to be like what are we supposed to do with this? Income might be an issue for some millennials, but I think we have to just push forward. And millennials, like, I'm gonna hold y'all to task. Y'all got to stand on business with this voting.
Yeah, vote.
Our vote, like the way that we vote.
Vote. That's all I can say. Vote.
Vote. I know you probably don't want to get too like.
Yeah, we're not there yet. Yeah, we don't. Not this
one. Okay.
But
eventually,
we'll
it's like an onion.
Yeah, peel it a little bit at a time.
Layer by layer.
Or you might start crying.
Yeah. I told you we would shock y'all with our perspective on stuff. But I think that it needs to be said, like, eventually. Yeah. Because I think that once more people that make sense open their mouths and use platforms to make sense, I think that people will listen to it and take it in. Because if it's common sense, it makes sense.
So anything you guys have to add to the conversation, put it in the comments, and we'll comment back with you. Have a discussion in the comments. Yeah. You want to say anything?
No. I think this was a great start. Please feel free to comment and, you know, subscribe, like the video, share the video, and look forward to the next video.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
Bye. Mwah.
You gonna cut that out?
No.